We are dying. This video is very hard for me because it took me a while to make this video because I really didn't know where to start, and this was very heavy on me. My people are dying and they're being killed by our own government. And when I say my people, I mean my tribe. As I've been saying in many of my videos, I'm from Congo. That's the first thing. Let me start with that. And the second thing is that Congo has a lot of tribes. And one of those tribes is called Banyamulenge. And that's my tribe. We have been going through a lot of atrocities since 1960. And many of those killings have been led by our government, supporting rebel groups, locking one of our people, giving up some of our people to be killed on the streets, burning some people on the streets with tires, and many other atrocities that I can't really discuss on this video. A few weeks ago, it was a Sunday, I remember, I made another video like this when the army was shooting directly to citizens of Mulenge. It was also a very heavy message because it was also a Sunday when everyone was off, maybe resting or many other going to church. The government was shooting on citizens and many people lost their lives that day. Recently, the government was also shooting to citizens again. And many people lost their lives. And many of those are kids under 15 years. People who have nothing to do with everything that's happening. When doing this kind of videos to raise awareness about what's happening in my country, I always try very hard to not just limit my advocacy on a specific tribe. Because at the end of the day, regardless of many tribes that we have in Congo, we are all Congolese and we have to fight for the peace of everyone in Congo, regardless of their tribes, ethnic groups, or languages they speak, their features, and many other things like that. We are all Congolese. But from time to time, I make these videos because my tribe has been going through wars because of the government that was supposed to protect them. When the government is working with rebel groups that were created with a sole purpose to exterminate all the Banyamulenge, and you see the government working with them, supplying them weapons. I posted a video yesterday where there was a guy shooting. That guy is called Ngomanzito. And this person is the leader of a rebel group called Bilozi Bishambuke or Mai Mai. And these people's goal is to exterminate the Banyamulenge, but the government is currently working with them. The government is working with many other rebel groups who their purpose were always to kill the Banyamulenge. So I am who I am. I will never apologize for that. And when I say that I am a Congolese, and when I advocate for Congolese and say that my origin is in Congo, it's not to ask for somebody to approve of it. Even myself, I can approve it because I never chose to be who I am. I never chose to be born in Congo, and I will never choose that for anybody else. I am a Congolese, whether I like it or not, and whether you like it or not. So help us raise awareness about this. Right now, we have thousands of citizens who are sleeping in bushes with no food, no shelter, nothing. So help us in everything that you can. Who are the Banyamulenge people? Many people asked about it, so let's talk about them. The Banyamulenge people are a tribe located in South Kivu. That's in the Democratic Republic of Congo. These people settled in what's called Congo today between 15th and 18th centuries. That's over 500 years ago. They were living in what's called Congo today happily until colonialism happened. When colonialism happened, it started planting division between the Banyamulenge people and other communities because of their interests, because they were not able to control the Banyamulenge people as they controlled everybody else. That's a very long history, so I'm not going to talk about it today. So why are the Banyamulenge people a target of everyone in Congo? That includes the government, other citizens. It is the only tribe in the world that I've ever seen that's so much hated to the point where they eat somebody just because of hate. I'm sure if you've been following my videos, you might have seen many comments from my fellow Congolese people saying that you are not Congolese. That's a term they've created to dehumanize us to the point where they are able to do such thing as killing someone and eat him in the public. That's not something that I'm making up. It's something that has happened many times. An innocent person being grabbed on the streets and done cannibal things that I can't really describe. Even though this tension started during colonialism, it became worse after colonialism in 1960s. This started with the Mulelists. It started with a rebel group called Mulele. This rebel group, their whole purpose was to exterminate every one of them. They never succeeded because the Banyamulenge people stood up and fought for themselves because the government was not able to protect them, and they were able to defeat the Mulele rebel group. So why do we keep being called strangers even though we are in our country? The hatred against Tutsi people and anybody that looks like them. Before I even say my name, before I even say where I'm from, I'm sure many of you, even from my videos, were able to see that just by looking at me, many people started calling me some names. That's the discrimination we've been enduring in Congo for centuries. Secondly, the African continent has a particular history that they don't share with other continents. The division of Africa in 1885. That was from the Berlin Conference that happened between 1884 to 1885. The Western countries, based on their interests, they decided to divide Africa. During that time, the Banyamulenge were already on the land called Congo today. That's why I kept repeating that. They settled in Congo before the division of Africa. If Congo today has borders that any other country can't cross, it's because of the division of Africa. And we were not outside of Congo, and then we came back after the division. We were already on the land that we're living right now that are in the Congolese borders, which makes us original Congolese like any tribes. But as I said, because of the hatred against Tutsi people in the region, and we look like them, you can't really differentiate the Banyamulenge people from the Tutsi of Rwanda or the Tutsi of Burundi, the Banyankole from Uganda, and many other countries in Africa, especially East Africa. You can't really differentiate us. And that hatred is the reason we are here today. That's why they keep giving us names that we came as refugees. How can we come as refugees? We have so many tribes that came in Congo as refugees, but they're not being discriminated. For example, many people know the genocide of Rwanda in 1994. This genocide was done by Hutu against the Tutsi people. After the Hutu were defeated, millions of them fled to Congo, and they are still living in Congo, which is one of the biggest mistakes that Congo has ever done. It's not just because they received them as refugees. It's okay to receive anybody as refugees, especially someone who's fleeing. But they received them as some people who needed help to go back, which means they never disarmed them. They entered the country with all ammunition. They were given even more, and they started training them to go back to wage war against the new government in Rwanda. But since that wasn't possible, they stayed in Congo as one of the many rebel groups we have in Congo, which has been causing a lot of suffering in the region. But that's not the topic for today. These people came in 1994, just 30 years ago. And these people are not being discrimination. You know why? It's because they're not Tutsi. It's because they're not Banyamulenge. It's because for some reason their facials don't match the people they should hate. And we have the people who still have the culture and the name called Burundi. They live in South Kivu. They're from Burundi. They came as refugees as well. They're not being discriminated. And you might ask yourself why. And we have many other people. Like many provinces in Congo, like Kasai, used to be on the side of Angola. But it was put on the Congolese side during the division of Africa that I mentioned before. Are they considered less of Congolese? No, they're Congolese. We have the Bakongo that you can find in Central Africa and also find them in Congo. Same tribe, same culture, same languages. Are they discriminated just because you can find in both countries? No. We have the Lunda and Chokwe, who you can find in Angola and find them in Congo. Are they discriminated because you can find them in two countries? No. Then I can go on, the list is very long. Then you ask yourself, why are the Banyamulenge discriminated? Why are the Tutsi in Congo discriminated? Is it because you can find them in Rwanda and also find them in Congo? Or is it because you can find them in Burundi and also find them in Congo? As I said, many other tribes share the same thing, but they're not discriminated. It's because they don't match the description or the ideology to exterminate all the Tutsi in the region. That's the same reason that there was a genocide in Rwanda in 1994. That's the same reason that we have the same ideology in Burundi, and many Tutsis have been really killed, and many of them don't live in the country anymore. Now, let me come back to the refugee thing. I saw many comments, and there is one that said that you were refugees that came in 1964. In 1964, we were under war against the Mulelist, which we defeated, not the government of Congo, because it never supported us. And other people say that you were brought by Belgium. There are people who were brought by Belgium in 1948, not just to help them in their farms, but also because there wasn't enough land in Rwanda. So they brought them in Congo because there was enough land for farming. Those people came in 1948. And the reason they were brought there is because Belgium is the colonizer of Rwanda, Burundi, and Congo. So all those countries during that time, they were governed by the Belgium government, which means they were able to move anybody from wherever they want. And the other thing, to match what you said, actually, refugees. There are refugees who came in 1959 from Rwanda, and these were Tutsi. But after the defeat of Hutu in 1994, most of them returned because they were refugees and their country was free, so they returned. And that's in the North Kivu. As you know, the Banyamulenge people are located in South Kivu. That's something that's very easy to know, but why don't you know about it? The reason this kind of ideology keep getting pushed this much is not because they don't know the truth. It's because that if they admit the truth, that means their ideology of extremism won't work. They need to find a reason. That's what happened in all genocides that happened in the past. You have to make the public hate someone that you want to kill, so it's easy to kill them, but also get help from other citizens so you to kill the same person. That's why we're being killed on the streets and be eaten. I hope you understand how much hatred that some people have. And there are many other ways that are very simple without going into history, because not many people go into the history that can really tell you that if the Banyamulenge are really Congolese. Myself here, I live in the Western countries, which means I'm free to go wherever I want. Why do you think I'm still working this hard to advocate for my country in Congo? If what you're saying is true, why don't I just go back in Rwanda, as many people say? It's because it's not our home. The second thing, I was born in Congo. My dad was born in Congo. My grandfather was born in Congo. My great-grandfather was born in Congo. I can go on for generations. They were all born in Congo. Imagine how insulting it is after centuries that you're still fighting for your nationality. Can you imagine how behind we are, not only as Congolese, but Africans? The other thing, the Banyamulenge people are made of 26 clans. Some clans are from what's called Burundi today, because they left there before Burundi happened and before the division of Africa, which I mentioned before, that happened in 1885. Which means they didn't come from Burundi, because Burundi happened in 1885 and they left Burundi in 15th centuries or 16th. But Rwanda also uses the same thing for their own interests. And other clans came from what's called Rwanda today. As I said before, they left there before Rwanda became a country. And others came from what's called Tanzania today, while others came from what's called Uganda today, which means they came from 4 different locations. And that was over 500 years ago. Then you might ask yourself this question: if these people came from 4 different areas, why is Rwanda the only country that's popular? Because one, it's because most Congolese hate Rwanda because of many implications that this country has done in Congo. That's a very long history. I won't talk about it today. And the second thing is the ideology of the Interahamwe, who are the Hutu who committed the genocide in 1994 in Rwanda, who entered in Congo, mixed with other Congolese, and started pushing the same ideology, because when they arrived in Congo in 1994, many of the Banyamulenge people and the Tutsi of Congo died because they left Rwanda after being defeated, and they were defeated by the Tutsi of Rwanda. When they arrived in Congo, they were surprised because they found other Tutsi there, the same people that they just genocided. So what they did is they continued their job and they killed many people that time. So the same ideology still exists because those people are still living in Congo and they are armed. To this day, the FDLR, which is a rebel group from Rwanda, lives in Congo and has been responsible of a lot of killings that happened in Congo. But why aren't they talking about it again? It's because the FDLR is killing the Tutsi, and many people from my country in Congo, they don't care, including the government. And the other thing, I'm trying to give you many reasons to show you how ignorant these people are because of the hatred. If you ask a 40-year-old man from South Kivu, and they ask them, when you were born or growing up, did you see these people, I mean the Banyamulenge, did you see them at school or anywhere else? He will say yes. If he is an honest person, he will say yes, because that's the truth. And if the same person asks their father, growing up, did you see these people? Were you living with these people? He will agree, because that's the truth. And if the same person asks their grandfather, they will agree, because that's the truth. And this same ideology, as you know, politicians have been running with it for many years, because they always say what the public wants to hear for their votes, for their own interests, so they can be inserted in the government. And they do that all the time to push hatred against the Banyamulenge people and the Tutsi of Congo, because that's what the public wants to hear. But do they care about that? They always find a reason. If you ask them, give me any fact, anything, whether it's in a book, whether it's from the colonial archives, which are still available, by the way. You can find them in Belgium, you can find them in Congo. You will find that the Banyamulenge people were there during the colonialism. And the colonial people can confirm it. By why do they have all those facts and they still don't? Because admitting that kills their ideology to kill all of us. So that's why they have to ignore it to make it easier for them to kill us. And that's the ideology that's been going on for centuries.